My parents demanded my deceased husband's life insurance payout to save the family home from foreclosure, so I gave it to them. Months later, they showed up in a brand new BMW, asking me for more money for unexpected repairs. But their faces went white when I showed them the video. It started raining the moment they lowered Yassi's casket into the earth. Not a drizzle, a torrential downpour, cold and miserable, like the sky was mourning with me, or maybe mocking me. I couldn't tell the difference anymore. My name is Oakley, and 3 months ago, I buried my husband. The man who made coffee every morning, even though he didn't drink it. The man who kissed my forehead before every shift and told me he'd come home safe. He didn't. A slip, a faulty platform at the construction site, a phone call that shattered everything. I stood there, soaked to the bone, clutching the folded flag they handed me like it was supposed to mean something. My fingers were numb, not from the cold, but from holding back the scream that had lodged in my throat since the call. "Honey," my mother's voice cut through the rain, slipping under my umbrella without asking. Her mascara was running, but her eyes were dry. "We need to talk. It's about the house." I blinked. "What?" My father joined her, his arm around her shoulder like a prop. "We didn't want to bring this up today, but we have no choice." "The bank, Oakley. We're about to lose the house." I stared at them. The same house I grew up in, the one they always bragged about paying off early. Tisa appeared beside them, all fake tears and dramatic sniffles. "It's bad, Oak. They're behind on everything. They didn't want to worry you, but it's serious." I didn't say anything. I couldn't. My heart was already bleeding. "We wouldn't ask if we weren't desperate," Mom said, gripping my arm. "Jesse would have wanted us to be okay. We're family." That word, family, hit me like a punch to the gut. "We're not asking for everything," Dad added quickly. "Just enough to stop the foreclosure. We'll pay you back every penny." I don't remember agreeing. I just remember feeling. I remember Tisa hugging me like she'd won something. I remember the way Mom's hand lingered on my purse when I pulled out the checkbook. The insurance money had arrived 2 weeks after the funeral. Jesse had been meticulous, responsible. He'd taken care of everything, even in death. For $180,000. I hadn't touched a cent. I couldn't. It felt like blood money. But they needed help. My parents, my sister, my family. And Jesse would have helped them. He always said, family first, even when they're difficult. So I wrote the check. $320,000. Enough to cover the debt and give them a cushion. I kept some for myself, just enough to cover rent and food for a few months. It felt good, like I was doing something right amidst all the wrong. They hugged me, told me I was a blessing, promised to keep me updated. Then they disappeared. No calls, no texts, no updates. Just silence. At first, I didn't think much of it. They were probably busy dealing with the bank, I told myself. Paperwork, lawyers, whatever. I left voicemails. "Just calling to see how you're doing," I'd say. "Hope everything's okay." Nothing. Maya, my best friend since high school, didn't buy it. "They're completely ignoring you," she said one afternoon over coffee. "You gave them $320,000, Oak. You don't have to be polite anymore." "They're my parents," I mumbled. She raised an eyebrow. And? I didn't have an answer. 2 months passed. Rent was due again. I picked up extra shifts at the bookstore, canceled my gym membership, stopped ordering takeout. I nibbled at the last of the insurance money. I couldn't touch that. That was Jesse's. It felt sacred. Then, out of nowhere, Tisa texted. "Hey, so sorry we've been MIA. Things have been crazy. Let's do lunch soon." I stared at the screen like it might explode. No mention of the house. No mention of the money. I showed it to Maya. "Lunch," she scoffed. "Are you serious?" I didn't answer. I couldn't. Something in my chest twisted. I didn't want to believe it. Not yet. Then came the video. It was a Tuesday. Freddie, my across-the-street neighbor, knocked on my door, a USB drive in his hand. "You need to see this," he said. "Eyes serious." Freddie was the drone guy, always flying that thing around the neighborhood. I used to joke with him about it, call him Spy Kid. This time, he wasn't blushing. I plugged the drive into my laptop. The footage was clear. A BMW dealership. My parents and Tisa standing next to a white convertible, laughing, hugging the salesman, signing papers, champagne. I covered my mouth. Then I heard it, clear as day, my father's voice. She really swallowed it. The room spun. I paused the video. They bought a car, I whispered. Freddie nodded. That was 3 weeks ago. I didn't want to assume anything, but I recognized your sister. I couldn't breathe. Maya came over that night. She watched the recording in silence, then turned to me. They lied, she said. They stole from you. From Jesse. I sat on the floor, knees tucked to my chest, staring at the paused video. My mother's smile. My father's smug chuckle. Tisa's sunglasses perched on her head like a crown. I felt something shift inside me, like a door I didn't know existed had just creaked open. I didn't cry. Not this time. I just whispered, they're going to regret this. I called all 3 of them, one after another. Straight to voicemail. I waited an hour. Tried again. Nothing. Maya sat across from me at the kitchen table, arms crossed, jaw tight. They're not going to answer, Oak. Did you see the video? They're not hiding it. They don't care. I stared at my phone like it might develop a conscience. I just want to hear them say it. I want to hear them lie to my face. Maya leaned forward. Then let's go see them. I blinked. You mean, like, how? Like show up unannounced? You gave them your husband's life insurance and they ignored you. You deserve answers. I hesitated. She stood up. I'm driving. Put your shoes on. The drive to my parents' house felt longer than it was. My stomach churned the whole way. I kept picturing Jesse's face. He used to say, your mom's intense, but she has good intentions. He never saw this coming. Neither did I. We pulled up to the house, and I froze. It looked perfect. Fresh paint, new landscaping, a shiny, acid-washed black BMW in the driveway. Not a single sign of financial hardship. Maya whistled low. Foreclosure, my ass. I got out of the car, legs stiff. Each step up the walkway felt heavier. I rang the doorbell. Footsteps. Then the door swung open. Tisa blinked at me like I was a stranger. Oh my God, what are you doing here? I forced a smile. I thought about turning around. It's been a while. She glanced past me to Maya, then back. Now's not a good time. We're in the middle of, where's Mom? I asked, before she could answer. Mom appeared behind her, holding a wine glass. Sipping from a wine glass. Well, this is a surprise, she said, lips tight. I walked in without asking. Maya followed. The living room was immaculate. New furniture, marble coffee table, a massive flat screen mounted on the wall. I turned slowly. So the house is okay? Mom's smile didn't reach her eyes. We managed to work something out with the bank. It was a miracle, really. Tisa chimed in. Yeah, pulled some strings, you know how it is. I stared at them. You didn't think to tell me? We didn't want to worry you, Mom said quickly. You've been through so much. I nodded. Right. So much. Like burying my husband and giving you $50,000, he said. That's fair. I raised an eyebrow. You stole over $320,000. Mom chimed in. It was never about stealing. It was about survival. Family helping family. Tisa added, besides, you still have some, right? Maya stood up. You people are unbelievable. Dad ignored her. We're willing to settle this quietly. No court, no drama. But we do need a little help right now. I tilted my head. Help. He sighed. We're doing a surprise renovation. The city's giving us a hard time with permits. We're short $10,000. You came here in a BMW to ask me for more money? Mom smiled, like it was a reasonable request. Just a small loan. We'll pay you back. I walked over to the TV stand and picked up the remote. Funny you should mention the dealership. Tisa narrowed her eyes. What? I turned on the TV. The dealership recording played instantly. Them laughing, signing papers, clinking glasses. Then Dad's voice, she really swallowed it. Their faces fell. I let it play once, then twice. Nobody spoke. Finally, I turned it off and faced them. I kept something of yours too, I said. Dad stood up. Where'd you get that? Doesn't matter. Mom's hands were shaking. You can't use that in court. It's illegal. Maya stepped forward. Actually, it's not. It's public footage, legally captured and admissible. Tisa's voice cracked. You've been spying on us. You've been robbing me, I said. So yes. I started paying attention. Dad's voice dropped. You don't want to go down this road. I'm already on it. He stepped closer. You think you're better than us now? Because I have a lawyer and a briefcase full of receipts? No, I said. Because I have the truth. And you have lies. Mom reached out. Honey, I stepped back. Don't. You lost the right to call me that. Tisa's voice turned cold. You're going to destroy this family. I looked her dead in the eye. You destroyed it the moment you capitalized on my husband's death. They stood there, silent. Then Maya said, you should leave before we call security. Dad opened his mouth, then closed it. He turned and walked out. Mom followed, her heels clicking like gunshots. Tisa lingered for a second. You think this makes you powerful? She asked. No, I said. But it makes me free. She scoffed and stormed out. The door slammed shut. Maya exhaled. Holy shit. I sat down, heart pounding. Holy shit, she said again, grinning. You didn't even flinch. I've done enough crying, I said. Now it's their turn. We spent the rest of the day organizing everything. Footage, texts, emails, bank transfers, timestamps. Mr. Sanders had already drafted the civil suit. Now we were adding criminal impersonation, fraud, emotional damages. I emailed him the dealership recording and the audio of Tisa's confession. He replied within the hour. This changes things. We'll add her criminal impersonation and misrepresentation to the civil suit as well. Looking into federal wire fraud statutes, too. Maya handed me a glass of water. Are you okay? I nodded. I think I'm finally starting to be. She smiled. You were right. You did keep something of theirs. Now it's going to save you. I looked out the window. The BMW was gone. But the damage was done. And the reckoning had just begun. They walked into Mr. Sanders' office like they still owned the room. Tisa in a tight blazer and heels that clicked with every step, Mom in pearls and a forced smile, Dad's tie crooked but his smirk intact. They brought a lawyer, a guy in a cheap suit who looked like he hadn't read a single page of his brief. I sat across the table, Maya beside me, Mr. Sanders at the head. Let's begin, he said, calm and cold. We're here to discuss the formal response to the civil suit filed by my client, Oakley, regarding the misappropriation of life insurance funds, emotional damages, and fraudulent misrepresentation. Dad leaned forward. This is all a misunderstanding. Mr. Sanders didn't blink. We'll let the evidence speak for itself. He opened a folder and slid a stack of documents across the table. These are certified bank records, text messages, drone footage, and a recorded confession from Tisa regarding her impersonation and misuse of funds. Tisa's lawyer barely touched the papers. This all seems rather circumstantial. Mr. Sanders smiled thinly. Let's start with the dealership recording. He hit play on the small screen in the center of the table. The video filled the room. The three of them laughing, signing the BMW paperwork, clinking glasses. Then Dad's voice, she really swallowed it. Nobody spoke. Mr. Sanders continued, like he was reading a grocery list. Next, we have Venmo transactions linking the down payment on the car to the insurance money, dated 2 weeks after the funds were transferred. He flipped to a second page. We also have audio of Tisa admitting to impersonating Oakley in a phone call to Yassi's employer, inquiring about the insurance claim before Oakley was even notified of his death. Tisa shifted in her seat. Her lawyer whispered something. She didn't respond. Mom finally spoke. We're family. This shouldn't be happening in a courtroom. Mr. Sanders looked up. You're right. It never should have happened at all. Dad's smirk had vanished. What do you want? I leaned forward. Everything. Tisa scoffed. You're not getting a dime. Mr. Sanders was unfazed. Actually, we're seeking full restitution of the misused funds, damages for emotional distress, and possible criminal charges for impersonation and fraud. The IRS has also been notified. Their lawyer paled. The IRS? Mr. Sanders nodded. Yes, there are several large cash purchases that were never declared. The audit is already underway. Mom's hands were shaking. You wouldn't do that. I already did, I said. Tisa's voice cracked. You're going to destroy us. I looked her dad in the eye. You destroyed yourselves. Dad stood up, hands flat on the table. You think this makes you strong? You think Jesse would have wanted this? I stood up too. Jesse would have wanted justice. And I'm making damn sure he gets it. Maya placed a folder in front of them. You can settle now or take your chances in court. But either way, this doesn't end on your terms. Their lawyer whispered again. This time, Dad listened. Tisa's eyes were glassy. You're not the same person. No, I said. I'm not. Mr. Sanders stood up. We'll give you 48 hours to decide. After that, we proceed with the full suit. They filed out more slowly this time. No clicking heels, no smirks. When the door closed, Maya turned to me. You did it. I sat back down, heart still pounding. Not yet. But they know what's coming. Mr. Sanders nodded. They'll settle. They don't want this to go to trial. I looked at the empty chairs across the table. Good. I want this to hurt. Later that night, I got a text from Tisa. Happy now? I didn't reply. Instead, I opened Jesse's old voicemail, the one I couldn't bring myself to delete. Hey, babe. Just calling to check in. I'm gonna be late tonight, but I love you always. I played it twice. Then I whispered, I'm getting it back, Jesse. All of it. The letter arrived by courier, thick, gold-sealed, no return address. Maya was beside me as I opened it. Well, she asked, eyes wide. I scanned the first page. They settled. She grinned. For everything? Every dime. Every penny. Plus damages. They agreed to return the full amount, plus interest, and cover my legal fees. Maya let out a whoop. They caved. They didn't have a choice. Inside the envelope were copies of the signed agreements. Tisa's name, my parents' signatures. A bank account listed for the restitution payments. The BMW had already been repossessed. The pool company filed a lien on their house. And the IRS was still investigating. They're going to lose everything, Maya said. I nodded. They already did. That night, I packed the last of Jesse's things. Not because I wanted to forget him, but because I didn't need to hold on to the pain anymore. His sweatshirt still smelled like him. I folded it carefully and placed it in the box marked keep. There was a knock at the door. I opened it to find Mom standing there alone, holding a manila envelope. I'm not here to beg, she said. Good, I replied, stepping aside but not inviting her in. She looked tired, smaller somehow. Her hair was unstyled, and her usual perfume was replaced by something bitter. Regret, maybe. I wanted to give you this, she said, handing me the envelope. I opened it. Inside were old photos. Jesse and me at our wedding at Christmas, laughing on the beach. I hadn't seen them in years. I found them in a drawer, she said. You were, smiling. I didn't say anything. She shifted. We're losing the house, you know. Tisa moved in with a friend. Your father's under audit. We're not okay. I looked at her. Did you come here for pity? No, she said quickly. I came because I wanted to say something. I waited. I'm sorry, she said. We were wrong. All of it. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know. I nodded. Thanks for the photos. She hesitated. You were always the strong one. We just Never saw it. I didn't answer. She turned to leave, but stopped at the door. You're not like us, Oakley. That's a good thing. Then she was gone. I closed the door behind her and locked it. The next morning, I sat down in front of my microphone and hit record. Welcome back to the Craft Shack, I said. Today, we're talking about betrayal. Not from strangers, but from the people who swore they loved you most. Maya sat across from me, monitoring the levels. I lost my husband, I continued. And then I lost my family. But what I gained was clarity. And a backbone I didn't know I had. We recorded for an hour. Raw, honest, unfiltered. Afterwards, Maya sat back. That was your best episode yet. It felt good, I said, like I was finally saying the things I'd been too afraid to say. You think they'll listen? I shrugged. Doesn't matter. It's not for them anymore. Later, I walked past the bookstore where Jesse used to wait for me after my shifts. I stood outside for a minute, staring at the streetlight's reflection in the shop window. A kid inside dropped a book, and the sound made me flinch. But then I smiled. I kept walking. In the park, I sat on our old bench, the one with our initials carved into it. I ran my fingers over the letters O plus J. I checked my phone and opened the final transfer confirmation. The money was back in my account. Every dollar. Maya texted, "Drinks tonight? You've earned it." I replied, "Absolutely." As I stood to leave, an older woman nearby smiled at me. "You look like someone who just let go of something heavy," she said. I smiled back. Yeah, I did. Back at my place, I poured a glass of wine and opened the window. The city hummed below. Life moving on. I pulled up Jesse's voicemail one more time. "Hey, babe. Just calling to check in. I'm gonna be late tonight, but I love you always." I whispered, "I love you too." Then I deleted it. Not because I was letting him go, but because I didn't need the pain to remember the love. They turned my loss into a transaction. I turned their lies into a legacy.